Hello and welcome to another episode of GM Talks. Today we're gonna talk about Magnus Carlsen power. It feels a little bit strange maybe when he just lost yesterday against Nakamura in a very exciting match. But to be honest, the way Carlsen was able to dominate Caruana made a big impression on me. It was like, well, you don't do that against players that are in the top five in the world. And we're gonna look into exactly what he is doing and why it works, and how it made Caruana look like he had no chance at all and will never have a chance, which must be a bit scary for the American player. That it seems like he will never have a chance against Carlsen. After this, it's just like it's gone. He's out. He's not gonna be a world championship contender again. Even though this was SpeedChess, it was splits. It's a very exciting format, by the way. I like it. It's first 5+1 for 2 hours, I think, then or 1.5 hours, and then 3 minutes plus one, and then 1 minute plus one bullet chess. And Carlsen was totally dominating the match. He won 22-4. So let's see this game. Magnus is white, and he starts with e4, which is, I think, his preferred opening move. And already here, Caruana was definitely struggling, so he reverted to the Petrov to sort of stabilize, and this is his solid choice. This is I don't want to lose choice. But you can lose anyway. Bishop f5. This is the new trend, to put the bishop here as fast as possible, just trying to keep the knight here. White is hoping that black will eventually have to move the knight, and he will basically be up to tempi in a symmetrical position. Sometimes white will also go c4 to attack the center. And this is all very known. And white does have a slight initiative. It's not much. I think on most levels it will not amount to anything, but it can be a little bit annoying, and it's not so easy to play. This move has gotten into the limelight recently, but it's all very natural moves. By the way, it's supposed to be in this position. It's supposed to be good to have knights on these two squares, just covering all the squares there. So black managed to exchange one bishop here. The potential bad bishop. He's got pawns on white. But he still needs a little bit of time to develop. He's planning with knight a6. He's planning this maneuver, just blocking the e file, and all very natural. And here comes a maybe surprising move, because this knight here is probably pretty good. So here, white just takes. And takes back and plays g3. Now, what's the point of that? Well, the point is, of course, that he's trying to play around this bishop. Even though it looks like a good bishop, it's not so easy. Of course, if the knight was on a better square, then maybe black would be able to equalize. But black does not have an active plan. White has two very nice knights here on these two squares. Make them yellow. Oops. No, I didn't make them yellow. Like this. There's also potential plan to move this, maybe with this plan, maybe to get more square. The thing is, black usually would like to play this to prevent the knight from coming here, but that does seem to sort of weaken the dark squares. Anyway, it's hard to believe that black should have much trouble in a position like this. But Carlsen is so good at this subtle domination that it soon becomes apparent that black can easily lose this position, and the way he ends up losing is quite impressive or interesting. To be honest, it was clear that Caruana was a little bit off in this match. He was not. He got a bad start, and then he just kept losing, and he kept getting these positions where you make decisions that looks good but just are wrong. It's when you get sort of caught up in that situation where you know that you're supposed to be able to solve this, but you just can't work it out at the board, and you make natural moves and they just get refuted, and it's very frustrating. Now look at this king g2. So white says, okay, I'm fine here. I'm gonna just make a slow build up. I don't see how you can actually develop sensibly. I don't believe black should have any trouble in this position, but it's just not nice to play. Moves like this are coming for sure. Something like this, and you don't have a plan, and white can just sit here and might even play c4 at some point. Going back, so black is just saying, okay, I'm waiting. And to be honest, to have a position where you just wait against Magnus is only for Nakamura. Nakamura was very good at that. We're gonna look at that match in a later video. And congratulations to Nakamura. I think it was the 5th time in a row he won this tournament, and I think the format really fits him. That you can play, you have to play like all the blitz categories, and he is just an outstanding blitz player. Sort of a very nice mix between very solid and very good at attacking. It's just and of course excellent endgame technique, especially in blitz, where just this sense of where to put the pieces is very important. I don't, by the way, don't have that. I can feel that I'm always struggling. I need time in the ending to find the right squares for my pieces. I'm always putting them on weird squares in the ending if I don't have time. I think a lot of players. I think maybe it's bad training actually, that you should have automatizated or whatever it's called some of these things more early on. I think a lot of chess is about making automated decisions in a lot of situations, and it's not so easy to do that. Anyway, and rook here. And white has slight pressure, not much, nothing scary, but this is probably wrong because seems like white is gonna be just a little bit more active here. There's this knight here that has a lot of wriggling move, and even though the bishop has a long range, it doesn't help anything when sort of the front is very narrow. It's not like it's gonna be an if the board was open, or you somehow could make this pawn attackable, then it would be okay for black. But at the moment, the bishop is just out of the game. I think for most of us, this would have no no impact on the result at all, and black would be just fine here. But for against a player like Magnus, that's not the case. So, and here, little bit annoying, still should be nothing, but white does have the e-file now, and it's definitely getting the e-file. So take, and black is ready to expel the knight here, and it looks like very natural, good move. But okay, there's just this move. It's a little bit annoying. If you play this, then when you want to expel the knight, you always have to weaken your pawn position on the king side. So, but this looks, but still after this, it's a bit annoying. White is clearly better here. It's not much. It's not something you would be scared about, but it's nevertheless a little bit annoying. White has a slight initiative, and a slight initiative is very deadly for a player like against a player like Magnus. Um, and here comes a nice little move. Queen e3. Looks like nothing problematic of any sort, but still just keep control over this e file and eyeing this square. Might something come along here, and black, to be honest, totally panics here. He should keep his cool somehow. I don't know, rook d8, a5, whatever. Just say, I'm solid, I'm not scared. He's gonna do something. I don't know what it is, but I'm just waiting here. I'm not gonna do something. Instead, Black decides to say, okay, I need to open the position a little bit for my bishop. And this fatally weakens this square. Now, that doesn't look like it's so bad, but now look at what's going to happen here the next 15 moves. It's going to be really, really instructive how Carlsen managed to exploit the weakness of this square. Queen d3, first move, taking control over the square here. King h8. Now comes a little smart move here. Queen f5. Now that's probably surprising. The thing is, something like this is not really something you want to do. It's like maybe Black will play something like White will play something like this, and after this, it's all falling apart for Black. We see that this one is going to be a Pac-Man. It's going to be difficult to hold this square. Some knight might come somewhere here, and you have a whole lot of weak pawns everywhere. It's just not going to be funny to play this position. I don't know actually what to do here. So he doesn't. He took it, and that was probably the plan all along. And how bad can this ending be? Well, it turns out this ending is very bad. We say that usually you need two weaknesses to win. At the moment, Black is a pawn up, but White is going to do a Pac-Man on this pawn with the king. So that's going to be that pawn. Then there is, let's see the weaknesses here. I'll make them red. Here. And a second weakness is the e-file is under White's control, and this knight here is totally dominating this bishop here. So White is a lot better here, and I think for most players it would not be enough to win, because how bad can it be? But it actually is very bad. This is a very nice move. A5, king here, a4, and Black is doing everything right. He's putting all the pawns on white squares and not creating any more weaknesses. But here he starts to be a little bit because this might be coming here, and then suddenly knight e7 and rook takes e7 and all very so c5 to get some counterplay, get the bishop out, but that weakens the pawn position, of course. And White quickly starts to attack the pawns. C3, preventing, of course, anything with d4, even though it's maybe not a threat. There's no reason not to control this square. King f8. And here is an important move. We see that this bishop is threatening here, so you can't really move the rook. So f4, making sure those are covered. There's no check here. and also giving this possibility, and we see that, and Magnus said, okay, you got weaknesses, everywhere here. So what to do when you're gonna do when you have a technical winning position? How to proceed? Well, you just keep control. King g4, putting it on white. No checks, nothing. f6, b4. Nice little move. And he should take that one. But it doesn't change the situation. White is still clearly better. He will play something with b4 and c4. He might even, sometimes the rook ending might even be good enough, but there's no real need to. He played this move. This loses instantly after c4 due to the pin here. d4, c5, and bishop c7. Rook takes d4. What a horrible situation for black. b5, and this was it. Black cannot attack anything. He's a pawn behind. The king is very active. He will spring into action. You cannot even avoid the rook exchange in a sensible way, and and all the pieces are passive. So here, probably very disgusted, Caruana resigned the game. What a complete domination effort, and it doesn't look like white is doing much. He's just putting his pieces a little bit up, and then suddenly black is completely killed. This sense for domination is also and I think a lot of it is actually instinct. Carlsen, of course, is calculating, like I know Caruana is calculating all the time, but it's also that you just sense something. Let's see the next game. Well, it's a blitz game. It's a bullet game. And we're gonna switch side because this time Caruana is white. And this game made a funny impression on me. This is, by the way, the Yobava system, I think they call it nowadays, and c5. And I think I lost to now Ditsky. He played e4 here, which is very confusing, but probably not very good. But a bit annoying, of course. And this is the normal move. Take a6. By the way, this is a good antidote against the Caruana system. Just no, not Caruana, Yobava system. Just taking away this square for the knight and just developing sensibly and saying, "What are you doing with your knight here? It's just a weird square." Bishop d3 is already wrong, I think. Should not. In general, white's idea is actually to do something like this, which looks weird, but it's gaining space, and then you start some sort of an attack, and it's not so easy to play for black. I think Yoba was very attracted to it. It reminds him a little bit of a reverse Caro-Kann, and he, like all Georgians, play a lot of Caro-Kanns. And here already after this move, Carlsen just says, "Okay, you have the bishop pair. I take the bishop pair. Thank you, sir." And that was the good bishop, right? And now we need to get the other one to go out here. The plan is here, and due to a6, it's not really, and the bishop is missing, it's not needed on the queen side, so it might as well get into a nice square. Knight g3 makes sense, preventing the bishop, and black goes here, find a way to exchange something, and also threaten the bishop. b5, and knight takes, queen d7. Point, of course, being can maybe met by bishop f5. So black is getting f5 for the bishop. That was the plan. f6, push the bishop, d5. Okay, might as well push you a little bit more. And black, of course, must be better here. He has the bishop pair for nothing, and but the way it develops this game is interesting, because there are some things with these pawns here, and but of course black's position looks nice. White continues to play in a standard way, how you're supposed to play, a little bit like the game we saw before, where he just put the pawns on the right squares, had a good bishop, and then didn't know what to do. And it's the same here. This, of course, makes sense to exchange the good bishop. And why I'm showing this bullet game is because of this move. Now that was very interesting move in my opinion, because and it must have been made on purely intuition, because here white won a pawn. He destroyed black's pawn's position, and actually the knight might have some squares to sit on here. This pawn is weak, this pawn is weak, so on. And but after this move, white is actually in some sort of trouble, because the queen cannot easily get away. There are some problems in the d file. There are some problems with this square here. So something like this could be coming. And to be honest, I don't think white can defend this. He played this move, which looks very natural, getting out of the way. Problem is, of course, this laser-like bishop is cutting through the king side, and this move is of course really unpleasant. The big threat is queen a2 check, c2 checkmate. What to do about that? Something like this, bishop c7 does not look like a solution for this. He played this move, which was all looks very natural. But after this move, and this move, black is completely winning already. There's no defense against this check. Now, how do you develop an intuition like that? Because most of us think, it's gonna something. This knight here is gonna sit here, and I'm gonna lose stupid endgame with my bishop. But here he just feels how they work together, the pieces, and of course this does not yet help. d5, and here it even gets worse after this move, like as this move, and there's no way to prevent mate in next move with rook a1. A fitting finish. Caruana didn't win a single game in the match. Carlsen won 22-4. So he was, of course, a huge favorite against Nakamura, but Nakamura is a very tough blitz player and turned out to be too tough for Carlsen, which we will look at in a later video. But the way that Carlsen can dominate the position and dominate his opponent, how you get back from this, I don't know. Losing it's like you have no chance. It's like it must feel really, I don't know, humiliating is the right word, because I don't think chess is a humiliating game, but it must feel very painful for sure. And domination is very cool concept. You just keep trying to make your pieces stronger, try to suppress your opponent's play, your counterplay, the pieces, and so on. Anyway, this was GM Talks. By the way, I removed the other videos. I was threatened by with the guys saying that lawyers will come after me and all things. I don't think that will happen, but I still think it was it makes sense to not tempt fate. So I just took it down, even though I don't think there was anything wrong with the video. But these people apparently. Well, they're not very sportsmanlike, are they? This was GM Talks. Thank you for watching.